Welcome to stage 8 of the Giro d'Italia. We're finally into the mountain stages, and for the riders, teams, and managers hoping to win this race overall, this is when the race really starts. The race situation now is 6 riders ahead of the peloton by around 8 minutes, and those 6 riders are Josephine Udebaya, Diana Stephenson, Elijah Johnson, Jamal Safari, Adrian Bernard, and Demetrios Zionis. So they have started the Category 1 climb of the Cipo di Carpegno. It's not so steep at the start, but the last few kilometers are very difficult indeed. Gradients averaging 11% in the last 5 or so Ks, and that ought to break up this group. The number of riders in this group are not far away from the race lead of Johnny Bouchers, who's in this group here. He will try and defend that lead today. But the riders best positioned to take the race lead are Demetrios Zionis, Udebaya, and Adrian Bernard. And unfortunately for Diana Stephenson, who's leading the mountains competition, she is in last place in the Giro d'Italia, many minutes behind the race lead. But she will still try and consolidate her lead in that competition and contest the stage win as well. We're on to the steep part of this climb now, and you see the non-climbers, they are getting dropped. The likes of Johnson, Bernard, and Safari, they're so good in the classics and the sprints and even in the hills, but once you get into the really high mountains, it's just not their terrain. It looks like the 2 women, on the other hand, on good form today. They're going to ride away and they will contest the sprint for the mountains points between themselves. And Udebaya, if she wins that sprint, would take the lead away from Diana Stephenson, because the top of this climb is worth 40 points, and that is more points than Stephenson has scored so far. These Category 1 climbs are really worth an awful lot of points, and the key to winning that mountains classification overall in the Giro is to win these big Category 1 climbs. And Udebaya is going to lead them into the final K of this climb. We'll see if they end up sprinting it out, but they might be a bit tired because they've been in the break all day. And not a very impressive sprint by either of them, but Udebaya, she's going to lead from the front and she will take the points. So she is now the new leader in the mountains competition. And these 2 riders, they will navigate the descent together. And if they work together in the valley, they can maintain their advantage over the peloton and give themselves a better chance of winning the stage. They still have 2 more climbs to go up, so it's not really going to get easier for them. As we see the breakaways that have been dropped, they're going to try and get back on terms. Now here is the peloton, being driven by Natalia. A bit curious because Udebaya is up the road, but it's Rodolfo Lucci we're talking about. You never know what he has planned. And speaking of plans, this may have been it right here, an attack by Rodolfo Lucci. Now that is a big surprise. I'm not sure what the tactic is, but it's a shrewd move, and he's already gained 50 seconds over the peloton. Well, a high risk, high reward maneuver by Rodolfo Lucci, and that is the story of this rider. If the road is going uphill, it's almost a guarantee the little Italian's going to try and launch an attack. And you see his Natalia teammates, they've sat up in the peloton, telling other teams, if you want to chase down our 2 riders, you're going to have to do it yourselves. So Mario Mazziota of Hackett now has to keep things under control. And Hackett take an interest in this stage because Manuel Navarro is their top climber, and he is a contender to win the Giro overall. So they need to get off to a good start in the mountain stages. Now here's Stephenson and Udebaya working together in the Valley Road, approaching the Category 2 climb of the Villaggio del Lago. And then from there, the final mountain is the Monte Copiolo. That climb around 6.5 kilometers long, averaging 6.5%. But they'll have to get over this one first, and Udebaya is going to set the pace here. We'll have to see what Kyoto does today, the top scoring team throughout the whole season, and a team that has a couple of contenders to win the Giro as well. I think Hippolyte Toutain should be the protected rider, but you can never count out riders like Ibai Leida and Egan Kalas. That's a team with a lot of options today, and we'll see how aggressive they choose to be. And here comes Rodolfo Lucci, and you see he's really attacking that descent, spending a lot of energy and taking a lot of risk to gain time over the field. And the other Natalia rider, Udebaya, has just attacked Diana Stephenson, and it hasn't worked. Stephenson is still there. You see them riding side by side here. Stephenson does not want to come through and set the pace, either because she's very tired or she knows that Josephine Udebaya has a race leader's jersey to ride for, so perhaps she can get Udebaya to tow her up to the summit. That's a shrewd tactic, but not a very honorable one, as riders really dislike it when a breakaway companion just sits on the wheel and doesn't do any work at all. So maybe that's why Udebaya, a bit exasperated, wants to get rid of Diana Stephenson, but for the moment stuck together like glue. See if future attacks can break up the two riders there. And Rodolfo Lucci is really flying up this climb. He now leads the peloton by 2.5 minutes. Although there's still 56 riders in that peloton, I don't think the pace is too high in that group. Maybe they're saving themselves for the final climb. I think Udebaya had just attacked again, so she is spending a lot of energy trying to get rid of Diana Stephenson, but really taking the race by the horns. And there's another attack. Udebaya, she wants the stage win, she wants the race leader's jersey, and evidently she wants the King of the Mountains jersey as well, or once she takes it, the Queen of the Mountains. And judging by all her attacking, she would really deserve that jersey. And her teammate Rodolfo Lucci continues to make great progress up the climb. It's now just 3.5 minutes behind these two. The final sprint to the top of this climb, Udebaya will win it, so she will score the points and extend her virtual lead in the mountains classification. Stephenson's going to try a little attack over the top here, trying to get a little surprise gap on the downhill. It hasn't worked. Udebaya goes back to her spot at the front. Very short descent here, and then straight onto the Monte Copiolo. 6.5 Ks to go. And again, Udebaya is going to set the tempo, leading from the front as great riders do, and she's launched an attack. And this time, no answer by Diana Stephenson. She's finally been broken, and Udebaya is free to fly. While Josephine Udebaya has been a bit quiet since the early classics where she really made a big statement, especially with her performance in the Omloop Nieuwsblad by detonating the race in the crosswinds. She's ridden the rest of the races as a domestique for other riders like Rodolfo Lucci and Kelvin Moore, and now she's finally back at the front of the bike race, and once again making a big statement to the field. With 3 Ks to go, here's Lucci. He's third place on the road now. You see the other breakaway riders getting caught. His lead over the peloton down to around a minute, and you see them fast approaching. So hopefully Lucci doesn't tire, but still a long ways to climb. You see this mountain twists and turns all the way to the top. The kilometers really feel a lot longer when you're going uphill, but Udebaya still looks very strong. 2 Ks to go now. She's going to take the race lead, and she will win the stage, and she will take the lead in the mountains classification. A brilliant day in the break for Josephine Udebaya, and a huge lift for the Natalia team. Udebaya is going to become the second female rider to win a race this season. And I have to say this victory much more spectacular because it's on a mountaintop finish. Chapeau Udebaya, a brilliant stage win. And now the clock will start to determine how much she will lead the rest of the pack. And here's the peloton, they've really closed the gap. They won't take the lead away from her, but they will keep it in check. Manuel Navarro will sprint it out, around 2 minutes down. Ling Xin is there, Kelvin Moore of Natalia, Washkov, Nello, Caillou. Stephenson surviving with the pack as well, and it looks like most of the big climbers are all here. Tutan Sancho also there. We'll see if little time gaps emerge between these various groups. There's Rudiger Lucci, he was caught. Might lose a little bit of time, some of the other Kyoto riders as well. So when it comes to the top climbers, the fancy favorites to win the race, I don't think we'll see much separation today. This final climb was not very long or steep in that regard. But one of them will have to wait to take the race lead because that's going to Josephine Udebaya. So we'll go ahead, let all the riders finish, then we'll take a look at the stage standings here. The top 10 riders on the stage: Josephine Udebaya, the survivor of the early breakaway. She has won the stage solo after doing all the attacking and winning all 3 climbs. A very dominant performance today and well deserved. She won by 2 minutes and 6 seconds over the chasing peloton. Manuel Navarro of Hackett in 2nd place. He won that sprint at the top of the climb with the rest of the field, and he will take a time bonus for that performance. Chungming Shin of VeloTour in 3rd place. Kelvin Moore 4th for Natalia. Yevgeny Polashkov 5th. Danilo Caillou Oyunbatar. The other breakaway riders Stephenson and Touton rounding out the top 10. And the first time gaps emerging at 14th place, starting with Rico Rudiger on down, because Rudiger was 2 minutes and 47 seconds down. So he, Rodolfo Lucci, Ibai Leida, and Egon Callas have all lost a little bit of time today. So a bit of a blow for those riders in those teams, but Euskaltel and Kyoto had riders in that front group. So let's see the GC now, and it's going to look a lot different because all the sprinters, they have lost a lot of time today, and one rider has leapfrogged everyone to go on top of the leaderboard. Of course, that is Josephine Udebaya. She is the new leader of the Giro d'Italia. He can beat Touton up to 2nd place at 1 minute 56 seconds. Manuel Navarro 3rd at 2 minutes. Pavlova has come up to 4th at 2 minutes 10 seconds. Mario Matsuda 5th at 2 minutes 12 seconds. Very strong performance on Matsuda today because he did some work in the Valley Road. Still stayed at the front of the pack. Jean-Marie Caillou in 6th at the same time. Then Sancho, Ling Xin, Robillard, the last sprinter in the top 10, and Carlos Nello rounding it out in 10th place. Other riders like Kelvin Moore, Yevgeny Polashkov, Jeff Cooper, Rico Rudiger, and Rodolfo Lucci not too far away, still inside the top 20. In the points classification, it was an intermediate sprint, so a few points have been scored, and no major changes. Johnny Voucher still leads. And in the Queen of the Mountains competition, it is Josephine Udebaya who is the new leader. She's up to 80 points after winning all 3 climbs today. Stephenson is down to 2nd place, and then the other breakaway riders that scored points on the Cat 1 climb, they will round out the top 5. And in the team classification, who else but Natalia? Such a great team performance today, so they lead by 39 seconds over AlphaTauri, with VeloTour, Kyoto, and Euskaltel up there as well. So a lot has changed in the Giro in the span of one stage, and really inside the last 40 kilometers. And the big winner today is Josephine Udebaya, because she's won a stage and now leads 2 competitions, 3 if you include the team competition. Now things get a lot harder for her because she'll have to defend her pink jersey tomorrow, and it is a mountaintop finish, a very long climb up to Sestola. But she will have her work cut out for her there, and it will be a battleground for the top climbers. This stage not enough to really separate the top contenders, but that could change tomorrow because the finish is a lot harder. But the race is really going to heat up now. We're excited to bring you the rest of the Giro as we enter the final 2 weeks, and things will start to take shape for who's going to win that final pink jersey. So once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time for Stage 9.